Hi, my name is Sano, and if you're anything like me, you probably feel like the pandemic stripped away some of the most important years of your life. A lot of you watching this might honestly be younger than me and relate more to it interfering with your high school or college years, but for me, it basically yoinked my mid-20s right out from under me. I just turned 27 in August and have been working as a freelance illustrator and designer since 2014, now running a small art business called Prismano since 2018 and still going strong. But I think the one thing the pandemic took away from me most of all was my confidence. The confidence to utilize my mid-20s as my messy, try new things just to see what sticks or what makes me fall flat on my face era. I feel like the pandemic stunted my growth a lot. I had all these big dreams of wanting to pursue artist residency programs in other countries or attend these big art events around the States and meet as many new people as I possibly could. And although I still, of course, have these dreams right now, the pandemic not only shut a lot of them down while we were in the midst of it, but they also heavily impacted them even now for the foreseeable future, with a lot of these programs and events shutting down for good. That's not to say there's nothing left available for me to experience at my age now, of course, but living those few years without that exposure to socialization and feeling the pressure of my 30s looming over my head has left me with an anxiety that's been very, very tough to shake. It feels like that spark to be spontaneous with my decisions, and the confidence to really see that through has been dimmed out a bit. And that's a reality that scares me a lot. So I know it's a little bit late, but I decided that I wanted to make a new mousepad mat design, something that would look really cute for autumn. And I thought about my Mocha Cafe illustration that I have and some of the Mocha Cafe products that I already have on my shop and stuff like that. I did do like a little revamped version of it, which I am really, really proud of and I think looks super duper cute. And I'll show it like on the screen somewhere around here. I wanted to do something kind of similar to it, but something with more of a, I don't know, like painterly art style, more heavily rendered, something that kind of feels like almost like an illustration you would see in like visual development and things like that. By the way, I have been really loving working on my new XP Pen tablet. It's the, I'm pretty sure, Artist Pro 16 or something like that, second gen, something like that. I'll show it on the screen, but I've been really loving working on it. It's been so nice and so smooth, and I really love the picture quality, the display quality on it as well. And honestly, for the past 10 years, I had been working on this little Wacom Cintiq tablet for a very, very long time. It was 10 full years straight on of me just working on that same exact tablet the entire time. And it served me very, very well. That Cintiq never gave me problems. It worked extremely well the entire time, but I just felt like after 10 years, it was time for a much needed upgrade, and it's a lot easier for me to use, way more simple. I like the way the buttons look. I love the color of the buttons. They're like very my aesthetic. So yeah, I'm just really, really happy with this tablet, and I can't wait to continue using the hell out of it. My favorite part when it comes to doing illustration work is always the painting process. So getting all of the rough sketching done and all of the line work done and everything like that is always not a hassle, but it's not really my favorite part. So I'm very excited to get to the rendering and painting phase because that is my favorite part. Age is honestly just a number, and I will always be the first person to say that anyone can do anything at any time, no matter what stage in life you're at, of course. But the pressures of society and even loved ones still makes that tiny voice in the back of my head echo the same, "It's too late," or "It'll almost be too late," like an unwelcome guest. Paired with my raging ADHD, it makes me feel too paralyzed to go forward. It makes me fear that my window of opportunity, I say with air quotes, had already shut its doors on me, and I'm just left here to pick up the pieces. It's always easy to fully believe and give those words of encouragement to those around you, but when it comes to yourself, you're always your own biggest critic, right? If I look back on my life, I've always had these lofty ideas of how I wanted my future to play out. At 10 years old, I daydreamed of running a massive fashion business where I'd sell Japanese fashion-inspired apparel designed by me by the age of 25. At 15, I fantasized about having a romantic partner who could whisk me off my feet and fit into these cookie-cutter ideals I always dreamed of by the age of 23. At age 18, I fully expected myself to feel and act like a fully formed adult by the age of 27. Driving a neat car, having a vibrant friend group I'd spend each of my weekends with, being that hyper-successful artist and business owner who lives in a super nice apartment and is living out her YN fantasies you'd only ever see in those romantic Korean dramas. A lot of you probably hear me say these things and think I'm either crazy, gullible, or have watched way too many dramas and movies in my time, to which you'd probably be right to a certain extent. I know the expectations I've placed onto my life border on delusional, and I certainly don't expect every aspect to be perfectly aesthetically beautiful in every way. I'm capable of taking in the realistic aspects of life too, but I do find myself still trying to pick up the pieces from the lack of connection the pandemic brought down on me. I feel like becoming an isolated adult in my early to mid-20s fed into those swirling desires I had as an isolated teenager, making them rush past me like an arrow or a bullet trying to hit some distant target, or, in this case, some ideal. I've told this to my therapist many times, but I honestly feel like a 23 or 24-year-old living in the body of a 27-year-old. I have all these big dreams that I can fantasize about for hours, but the act of putting them into practice feels like trudging through quicksand. But I can't help but feel this ache, this need to break free from it all and finally start living again. I think that's why, before I turn 30, I want to make it my goal to reclaim those years of my 20s I felt like I lost. The pandemic honestly felt like a major wake-up call for me. I remember before everything went down, I would always have these thoughts like, I have a lot of time and that's something I can do next year or the year after. But then next year turned into 2 years from now, or even not until the foreseeable future, once everything was shut down. And having the freedom to just go anywhere and do anything should my finances allow be stripped from me and everyone else around me was a horrific feeling. I'm not someone who usually regrets things in my life. I just really don't believe in that practice for myself, but back then, I found myself regretting how willing I was to put off the things I always wanted to do. Looking back, I of course understand why I did that. Nobody in my position, or anyone's position in general, would have ever predicted that something that crazy would end up happening to the world on such a global scale, so I try not to be too hard on myself when I look back and think about it, but that's exactly why I've decided to make it my mission to not push anything back anymore. The things that I want to do and am able to do, I want to start doing them with care and intention. Despite my anxieties and lack of confidence, I want to try to reclaim the time I feel like I lost and prove to myself that my 20s weren't just something I, air quote, wasted away in my tiny studio. I want to enter my 30s knowing that I gave it my all and tried new things, saw new places, met new people, and had new experiences throughout my 20s. I want to really feel like I grew as an artist, both in my skill level, but also in the way I perceive the world around me, and the knowledge I carry with me as a result of having experienced new and exciting things. Mental health issues, finances, and ADHD will always be factors that can limit how much I'm capable of, and that's okay. But working within my means and seeing how far I can expand out into the world around me are steps I want to incorporate into my everyday life. Over the past year, I have actually been working really hard to actually put this idea into practice. As a small business owner, I've always wanted to sell my work in physical places, sell at conventions, and just do more than only selling on my online shop. So I took the plunge, and in January of this year, I sold my goods at a super cute store called Cosmic Fluff here in Las Vegas for the very first time ever. So finally, after taking a break to refresh my products and level up my booth design game, I'm so excited to announce that my pop-up shop at Cosmic Fluff has officially returned for the holidays from now until December 31st. So if you find yourself in the Vegas area and want to stop by Chinatown to check out my products in person, definitely visit Cosmic Fluff and check out their Artist Alley room to find my booth. Definitely let me know in the comment section below if you decide to check it out for yourself or if you've already checked it out. Thank you so much to every one of you for making this even possible for me to do. I am just so grateful to you guys. Thank you so much. Growing up, I knew I wanted to be an artist from the moment I watched my first anime on 4Kids, read my first manga at my local library, and played my first Square Enix video games, all while I was still in elementary school. My family had their reasonable doubts. Sometimes I look back and wonder if my early to mid-20s would have felt any easier had I gone down a more stable path like they suggested. I've always been an incredibly stubborn person, at times to my benefit, at others to my failure. So anything other than art in some capacity was just never an option for me. But when I look back on the pandemic, the one silver lining I found throughout all of it was how art allowed me the freedom to still pursue my passions, even in the midst of the world feeling like it was crumbling down around me, where a lot of people and loved ones really tragically suffered from job insecurity or having to brave the outside world by still physically going into work. I was still able to do the things I wanted to do as an artist in my own little studio, as if not too much really changed. For that, I am extremely grateful, of course, but with that also came the flip side, stagnation. I had the ability to continue on like nothing changed, but because nothing was changing, nothing progressed either. So what then? What now? Like I mentioned before, I want to stop myself from putting my life off like I used to, unless it's literally involving factors outside of my control. If I have the means and the opportunities, I want to push forward and go through with something without even thinking twice about it. Over this summer, I actually watched a Korean drama called Summer Strike that really left a huge impression on me. I won't spoil it, don't worry, because I'd love for more people to watch it on Netflix, but the main character basically goes through many hardships in her life as a corporate girly living in Seoul. After a tragedy takes place, she decides to leave everything behind and live in a small town where she meets so many new people, makes really beautiful new connections, and experiences so many unique and interesting things that she never would have if she just stayed inside of her corporate bubble. I'm not necessarily planning on doing just that, but I think the premise of just wanting to make these big, bold life decisions and deciding on how you want to live your life unapologetically is such a beautiful thing. Not being afraid to live the way you want to live, even if it seems silly to people from an outside perspective, and how making those decisions can actually bring life to some of the most important bonds one could ever hope to experience in their lives. All just by being accepting of change and rejecting the stagnation of circumstances that don't serve you anymore. Maybe it's my Leo, Scorpio, and Sagittarius placements that make me want to passionately throw all caution to the wind, or maybe it's that lofty teenager inside of me who's still desperately trying to formulate the most romantic future for me she possibly could. So I am so excited because I have a bunch of new products that I just got in from Vaugrace, and I cannot wait to show you guys what they are. So I got this really cute rainy hydrangea themed acrylic keychain, and I just love how this turned out. I think it's so freaking cute, and it's got the little purple clasp on the top, and I just think it's so cute. It goes perfectly with my Rainy Hydrangeas illustration set, and I just absolutely adore it. I also got a sticker version of it. These will be going up in my brand new shop update that I'm going to be doing very soon, and I'll put all the information on the shop update on the screen. And I also made a set of 3 different postcards as well of some of my illustrations. This one is for my Jellyfish Garden Kickstarter as one of the freebies, and also one of the $5 tiers that you can pledge to. This is like the very first illustration I ever did, I'm pretty sure, of the Jellyfish Garden collection. This is the first Rainy Hydrangea themed illustration that I did as well. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I decided to go for more of an abstract vibe, especially going on up here and down here, and I just really love how it turned out. I also made a postcard of the Records of Youth illustration that I did for the stickers and for the keychain as well. Here is the Record of Youth illustration. I really love this illustration, and I noticed that a lot of you guys loved it too, so I wanted to bring it into a bunch of different kinds of merch. And surprisingly enough, Vaugrace actually started allowing you to create t-shirts, which I'll show you right here. I'm wearing my Records of Youth illustration on a t-shirt, and I think it turned out so well. I also was able to get a really pretty hydrangea design on the sleeve right here, which I am so happy with. This is such high quality, and the print turned out extremely vibrant and beautiful and crisp, and I am just really impressed with how Vaugrace handled creating this t-shirt. I just think it turned out so beautifully, and I cannot wait to show you guys. I also got this really cute Jellyfish Garden tote bag, also made by Vaugrace, and I really love how this turned out. I always love their tote bags, and it's one of my favorite products that I make from Vaugrace. This is one of the add-ons for the Jellyfish Garden jewelry Kickstarter, but I'm also going to be putting it up for pre-order on the Prismano store, so everyone will have a chance to be able to get this as well. So yeah, that's a look at some of my brand new products that I'm going to be having on my shop, Prismano, and I cannot wait for the shop update to come out. And you guys can look on my social media at all of the high quality product photos that I took of everything so that you can really get a good look at everything going on, and I am just so happy with how everything turned out. If the pandemic taught me one thing, it's that life won't wait up for you. I don't want to add any unnecessary pressure onto me or you watching this even, so I really hope you don't take that as like the clock is ticking and you're running out of time type of idea, because that's not what I mean. Like I said before, age is truly just a number, and you don't have to feel bad for not being exactly where you want to be just yet, but it's more so about how we don't know what life will look like in a year or two from now. So instead of putting off the things you've always wanted to pursue or even just do, and pushing your wants and desires onto the next year or the year after that even, I hope that this video could inspire you to allow yourself to indulge in those things in the here and now. I hope you feel that fire in you to just go for it anyway, and at least be able to say you did your best and put yourself out there. So if you made it this far into the video, thanks so much for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you'll see more content from me, and definitely let me know in the comment section below if there's any specific topics in particular that you'd like me to chat about in my next video. Until next time, my friend.